I thought about jumping up on stage, and then my height, it's like to hear. The summer of 1997, I only knew a few things. I knew that the only chance I had at seeing a half-naked high school girl was at the Hummelstown swimming pool. I knew that being seen with my parents was akin to social suicide. And I knew that Chris F. hated me with the passion that only a neighborhood kid could. And that's a very particular kind of hatred. It's the kind of hatred where he would push me off of my bike when I was going full speed. He would throw snowballs laden with rocks and ice into my face just to see if I would choke. And it was the kind of hatred that he would do all these things and we still hang out. Every day, all summer and all winter. And it had two levels. The first level was for other people to consume, and that was the violence against me. And that was so that he could show that he was a stronger teenager than I was. The second level was just for me, and he would do it just so I could hear it. And when he whispered, he'd whisper insults. He would say things like, "You look like a little fat rat," or "I'm going to tell Kate that you want to screw her, and she'll never talk to you again," or "You're so short, you will never have a girlfriend." And I put up with it. I took the insults because having a bad friend was better than having no friends at all. And so on a day before my 15th birthday, we were at the Hummelstown pool. We were waiting for tops to come off. It never happened, not once. Thankfully for me and my psychiatrist. And so we got tired of it. And Jeremy got tired of waiting for the tops to come off. And Chris got tired of waiting for one of our horrible parents to pick us up. And I got tired of Chris holding my head underwater just a little too long. And we took up the offer of a 16-year-old to drive us back home. And I'm remembering his car as like a sports car, but I think it was actually like a 97 Toyota something. It was like purple, and the back seat was too small, and it certainly had rust on it. And I get in the back seat, and the seat has eaten the seatbelt. And I'm almost 15 now, so I don't need a seatbelt. This thing that keeps moving. So I don't need a seatbelt anymore, and I decided to go without it. And when Chris whispers, he whispers a warning. He says, "Put on your fucking seatbelt right now." And I listen to him because he's good at sounding like he knows something I don't know. And what comes next kind of comes in pieces. I remember going across the Hummelstown Bridge out of town. I remember the stickiness of July on the seats. I remember the Pennsylvania summer moving past us like a too quickly done watercolor. I remember the car being in the air and sideways. And then I remember somebody screaming, and I woke up. And when I woke up, it felt like somebody had hit my shoulder with a sledgehammer. My head was resting against a telephone pole, and there was nobody else in the car. And I didn't know if they were thrown out of the car. I didn't know if they had run off, because that's a very teenage thing to do. But I did know that the car was smoking, and I knew that I couldn't move. And when Chris whispered, he whispered comforts. He whispered, "You're alive, you're all right," as he tried to undo the buckle. And he whispered, "I've called an ambulance. They're on their way," as he tried to cut me out of the seat itself. And he whispered, "I'm not going to leave you here," when somebody said, "I think the car is going to catch fire." And he whispered, "You're all right, you're all right, you're all right." And in the 4 weeks that I spent recovering in bed, immobilized because of my shattered shoulder, my friends would bring me things. They'd bring me shot glasses from Rehoboth. They'd bring me notes from girls that I'm almost positive they begged those girls to write. And they were basically trying to bring me the summer that I was missing. And Chris came once. And when he came, he only stayed for a couple minutes. And as he was leaving, he whispered so that my parents wouldn't hear. He whispered, "You know, the operator that I called thought that you were a woman who was screaming." but he didn't whisper anything else.
Good story. Welcome to Wonderland. Great job.